Mental strength isn't something you're born with. It's not a gift, it's a grind. Just like a muscle, your mind gets stronger through resistance. Every time you do something that pushes you past your comfort zone, you're training it. When you do what's hard instead of what's easy, you're rewiring your brain for resilience. People want confidence, discipline, and focus, but they forget those things are built, not given. They're the byproduct of showing up over and over again, especially when you don't feel like it. Mental toughness doesn't come from motivation, it comes from repetition. Every challenge is a workout for your brain. Every time you fight through, you're building strength. Avoiding difficulty is like skipping leg day. Sure, it feels better in the moment, but you're cheating yourself in the long run. If you only do what's comfortable, you'll stay weak, you'll fold under pressure, you'll back down the moment life throws a curveball. But if you treat hard moments like reps, like exercises for your mindsets, you flip the script. You stop running from pressure and start using it. You recognize discomfort as growth. The person who chooses to step into resistance becomes the person who thrives under it. And once you realize that, you stop avoiding stress and start embracing it as fuel. No one becomes mentally strong by accident. It's built through deliberate, uncomfortable action. Waking up early when your body screams no. Having the tough conversation when silence would be easier. Staying focused when every distraction is begging for your attention. These are mental push-ups. These are mindset reps. Every time you resist the urge to quit, you grow. Every time you move forward while afraid, you evolve. Every time you silence doubt with action, you level up. Strength isn't found in ease, it's forged in struggle, and every single day gives you opportunities to train for it. A strong mind doesn't avoid fear, it faces it head on. Fear is just an emotional weight. If you avoid lifting it, you stay mentally small. But if you pick it up, sit with it, and move through it anyway, you expand your capacity. Courage is built by doing the scary thing while shaking. Discipline is built by showing up when it sucks. Endurance is built by sticking with the plan long after the excitement fades. You don't get these traits by reading books or scrolling social media. You get them by doing the reps. Over and over, even when nobody's watching. Growth always starts where comfort ends, but most people never see results because they give up at discomfort. They quit when it burns. They stop at this is hard. But the few who push through that barrier, they're the ones who build grit. They're the ones who look in the mirror and know they've earned their strength because they didn't flinch when life got heavy. They didn't back down when things got uncertain. They showed up, did the work, and kept going. Mental strength isn't pretty. It's raw, it's sweaty, and it's uncomfortable. But it's also the most powerful weapon you'll ever develop. You've got to treat your mind the way an athlete treats their body, with intention, with effort, and with consistency. That means training it every day. That means testing it against resistance. That means doing hard things on purpose. You don't grow stronger by wishing for it. You grow stronger by lifting heavier thoughts, by facing bigger fears, and by holding yourself accountable. The more you challenge your limits, the more they expand. The more you lean into the hard things, the easier they get. That's the truth most people run from. But the ones who face it, they win. Mental strength also requires recovery. Just like a muscle, your mind needs time to reset and rebuild. That doesn't mean laziness, it means intentional rest. That means creating space for reflection, clarity, and stillness. Pushing hard is part of the game, but so is pulling back to recharge. The strongest minds don't just grind, they know when to step back, reevaluate, and return even stronger. Rest is not weakness, it's strategy. And when you treat rest as part of the training, you come back with double the force. It's not about burnout, it's about balance with purpose. You've got to stop waiting to feel ready. Training the mind means acting before you feel like it. Confidence comes after action, not before. You don't build belief by sitting around waiting. You build it by proving to yourself that you can do the hard thing. Every time you show up when it's inconvenient, you earn a little more trust in yourself. That trust becomes confidence. That confidence becomes momentum. And that momentum becomes mental armor. That's how you go from second guessing everything to owning the moment. Not with motivation, but with proof, stacked over time. You won't get stronger by doing it once. You won't grow by having one breakthrough and calling it done. Just like the gym, you've got to show up again tomorrow. You've got to do the work when it's boring, when it's hard, when no one's clapping. That's where transformation happens, in the quiet consistency, in the unseen efforts, in the moments you wanted to quit but didn't. That's how strength is built, not in the spotlight, but in the shadows, not in theory, but in action. And you've got everything you need to begin. The mind is your strongest asset when it's trained, and your biggest enemy when it's not. You can either let it run wild with fear, excuses, and self-doubt, or you can take the wheel. You can condition it, shape it, mold it. It won't happen if you stay with it. One hard choice at a time, one uncomfortable step at a time. That's how you become mentally unshakable. Not by avoiding the fire, but by walking through it and realizing you're built to handle it. Your mind is a muscle. Train it like one every day. No excuses. Mental toughness starts with truth, real truth, the kind that stings, the kind you usually avoid, the kind that makes you uncomfortable because deep down you know it's right. You can't build a strong mindset on a weak foundation, and denial is weak. You've got to stop pretending and start facing yourself head on. Excuses are easy, victim stories are safe, but neither of those will ever build the life you want. You've got to look yourself in the mirror and call it exactly what it is. You keep saying you don't have time, but the truth is you don't prioritize what matters. You say you're stuck, but the truth is you're scared. You say you want it, but your actions tell a different story. Owning that's the beginning of power. Because once you stop lying to yourself, you finally see where the real work needs to happen, and that's where strength is built, in the places you've been avoiding. Accountability isn't self-hate, it's self-respect. It's the ultimate form of care. Telling yourself the truth so you can actually change. People love to talk about mindset. They post quotes, they share stories, they wear the hoodie that says grind mode, but none of that means a thing if you're still hiding from your patterns, if you're still blaming your past for your present, if you're still saying someday instead of doing it today. A strong mindset requires self-confrontation. It demands that you stop pointing fingers and start taking ownership, not just of your wins, but of your laziness, your inconsistency, your fear. That's where the transformation begins. In the decision to stop bullshitting yourself. It's easy to lie to others. It's even easier to lie to yourself. You justify the scrolling, the snooze button, the missed workouts. You tell yourself you're just tired. You're just waiting for the right time. But deep down, you know it's not time. It's discipline, it's direction, it's decisions. And if you want to build a mind that can handle life at its hardest, you need to start with honesty at its rawest. No filter, no soft edges, just truth. Because nothing changes until you own the real reasons you're stuck. That honesty cuts deep at first, forces you to see your patterns, your sabotage, your shortcuts. But once you see it, you can shift it. Once you name it, you can fix it. You can't change what you won't admit. So be ruthless about finding the truth. Be obsessed with clarity. Ask yourself the hard questions, the ones that make you flinch. Why haven't you started? Why do you keep quitting? Why are you still blaming people who aren't even in your life anymore? The answers won't feel good, but they will set you free. A strong mindset doesn't come from comfort. It comes from radical clarity. And clarity comes from stopping long enough to ask, what role am I playing in my own struggle? What habits are keeping me stuck? What beliefs are no longer serving me? Stop numbing the questions with noise. Sit in the silence, face the truth, let it sting, then get to work. Because once you see what's real, you stop settling for what's easy. That's how grit is born. In the fire of truth, in the decision to rise from it, not run from it. Too many people are waiting to feel ready, but readiness is an illusion. What they're really waiting for is comfort, certainty, a perfect path. That doesn't exist. The people who move forward aren't better, they're just honest. They know they're scared, they know they'll mess up, and they still take the next step. That's strength. That's mindset, not pretending to be fearless, but admitting the fear and showing up anyway. Every time you choose honesty over image, you grow. Every time you choose reality over excuse, you rise. Self-awareness is the start of self-mastery. But it's not just about noticing your flaws. It's about owning them and doing something about it. That's what separates growth from comfort. A lot of people are self-aware, but they stay stuck in that awareness like it's a badge. True mindset development means using that awareness as fuel, not an excuse. It means saying, okay, this is where I'm weak. Let's strengthen it. Not, this is just who I am. That mindset will chain you to the same story forever unless you flip the script. Getting honest doesn't mean tearing yourself down. It means refusing to let your potential rot in denial. It means raising the standard for how you show up for yourself, not anyone else. A strong mindset doesn't need approval. It doesn't wait to be rescued. It stops pretending, it stops performing, and it starts taking action. Real action, the uncomfortable kind, the kind that feels like work. Because it is. But that's the work that changes everything. That's the moment you stop surviving and start leading your own damn life. Where your focus goes, your life flows. Most people don't have weak minds. They just have scattered focus. Their attention is hijacked by distractions, drama, other people's opinions, and everything that doesn't move the needle. And when your focus is constantly being pulled in 100 different directions, you feel powerless, you feel anxious, stuck, and drained because your energy is being leaked instead of channeled. But here's the shift. You have a choice. You get to decide where your attention goes. And that choice is everything. Because what you focus on, you strengthen. What you ignore fades. If you keep focusing on what's wrong, you'll feel defeated. If you keep focusing on what you can't control, you'll feel hopeless. If you keep focusing on what other people are doing, you'll feel behind. But shift your focus to your habits, your goals, your effort, and everything changes. Suddenly you feel momentum, you feel grounded, you feel powerful because now your energy is aligned with your vision, not your fear. You're no longer reacting, you're directing. And that's when your mindset levels up, not by doing more, but by focusing better. In a world that profits off your distraction, focus is a superpower. You've got to protect it like your life depends on it, because it does. Every time you scroll mindlessly, you're giving away your presence. Every time you complain, you're feeding the problem instead of the solution. Every time you focus on what you hate, you give it more control. So what if you flipped it? What if you started focusing on what you want to grow, on what you can control, on what builds you instead of breaks you? That shift alone could change your entire life. You're not tired because you're doing too much. You're tired because you're doing too much that doesn't matter. You're mentally exhausted from trying to fight every battle, fix every situation, and chase things that don't align with your purpose. But focus simplifies. It cuts through noise. It gives you clarity. And with clarity comes confidence. You stop spinning in circles and you start executing. Not perfectly, but purposefully. And purpose is fuel. It doesn't drain you, it drives you. That's the power of focus. Channeling your energy into what actually matters. Strong minds don't get dragged by every emotion. They recognize the emotion, they feel it, but they don't let it control their focus. You can feel anxious and still focus on the next step. You can feel overwhelmed and still choose one small action. You can feel uncertain and still move forward, because focus is a choice, not a feeling. And the more you choose it, the stronger it becomes. Focus isn't about ignoring life's chaos. It's about not giving the chaos all your energy. It's about staying locked in on what builds you. That's how you win. You don't need to control everything. You just need to control your focus. That's the game changer. There will always be problems, people, and pressures outside your control, but your attention, that belongs to you. Every time you reclaim it, you reclaim your power. That means turning off the noise, saying no to what drains you, and pouring your energy into what lifts you. Your mind becomes what you feed it, so feed it discipline, feed it intention, feed it thoughts that grow you, not thoughts that shrink you. That's the mindset of a builder, not a victim. The strongest people aren't the ones who never struggle. They're the ones who know how to focus through struggle, who know how to zoom out from the chaos and zoom in on the solution, who train their minds to stay locked in when everything around them is trying to break their attention. That's not luck, it's practice. It's the discipline of choosing your focus over and over again until it becomes second nature. You stop giving your energy to every setback. You stop reacting to every trigger. You choose to stay centered. That's real power. You don't need more motivation. You need more control over your focus. Motivation fades, focus builds. When you know what matters and you lock in on it daily, you become unstoppable. It's not about massive action once. It's about consistent attention over time. And that requires boundaries. Boundaries with your time, boundaries with your thoughts, boundaries with your digital life, not to restrict you, but to protect your focus like a fortress. Because anything that threatens your focus is threatening your future. And you've worked too hard to hand that over so easily. You've got to be ruthless with distractions, not because they're evil, but because they're expensive. Every scroll, every complaint, every drama cycle, it costs you energy, presence, and progress. You don't get that back. You either build your life by design or by default. And focus is how you design it. It's the invisible thread pulling you toward your goals. Lose it and you execute. So train it like a skill. Start small. Cut one distraction. Say no to one energy drainer. Refocus one thought. Do it daily. That's how focus becomes who you are. In the end, your mind will believe whatever you feed it most. If you keep feeding it chaos, comparison, and excuses, it'll believe you're powerless. But if you feed it focus, discipline, and clarity, it'll believe you can do anything. And that belief will change how you show up. Because the way you think drives the way you act. And the way you act shapes the life you live. So focus wisely. Choose it. Protect it. Repeat it. Because where your focus goes, your life follows. And the most powerful version of you is only one shift in focus away. Discipline isn't about being perfect. It's about being consistent when it matters most. It's doing the hard thing when no one is watching. It's saying yes to the things that build you and no to the things that waste you. The strongest minds aren't built in comfort. They're built in repetition over and over day in, day out. And the crazy part, it's not motivation that gets them there. It's the discipline they train, because motivation is a feeling and feelings fade. Discipline, on the other hand, is a choice you make every single day, no matter what. Everyone wants results. Everyone wants confidence. Everyone wants to be unshakable, but not everyone wants the process. And discipline is the process. It's not flashy. It's not exciting. It's showing up when you don't feel like it. It's doing the work even when the reward isn't immediate. It's stacking small wins when no one's clapping, because discipline is what keeps you going long after the mood you made the decision in has left. It's showing your mind that excuses don't run the show. You do. That's the difference between wishing and winning. You don't build strength by doing what's easy. You build it by doing what's necessary. Discipline trains your mind to work through resistance. Every time you follow through when you could have quit, you teach yourself something powerful. You're capable. And the more you prove that, the more you believe it. That's how confidence is born. Not from hype, not from words, from action. Repeated, even when you're tired, even when it's inconvenient, especially when no one else is doing it, because that's what makes you unbreakable. You've trained your mind to act beyond how you feel. The truth is, your life will always reflect your habits, not your goals, not your dreams, your habits. And discipline is the backbone of every good habit. You can have all the talent, all the potential, all the ambition in the world, but without discipline, it's all just noise. Discipline is the bridge between intention and reality. It's the thing that closes the gap between who you are and who you want to be. You don't get there by chance. You get there by choice. Over and over, again and again, even when it's boring. Especially when it's boring. Discipline doesn't care about your feelings. It's not soft. It doesn't wait for the right time. It kicks in when you want to quit. It shows up when motivation disappears. And if you train it, it becomes automatic. It becomes part of who you are. That's the shift from I have to I don't skip. Whether it's working out, waking up early, saying no to distractions, or doing the work, discipline doesn't negotiate. It doesn't give you a way out. It holds the line, because that line is the difference between growth and regret. Most people think discipline means restriction. They think it's about saying no all the time. But discipline isn't restriction, it's freedom. Freedom from chaos, freedom from regret, freedom from the trap of always starting over. When you build discipline, you build trust with yourself. And that trust compounds. Every time you do what you said you would, you build credibility in your own eyes. And that's everything. Because when you trust yourself, you stop needing external validation. You stop doubting every move. You become dangerous in the best way. There's going to be resistance. Count on it. There's going to be a voice that tells you to stay in bed, skip the gym, delay the project. But discipline doesn't argue with that voice. It overrides it. It says we do this now. It doesn't wait until it feels easy. It shows up anyway. And that's what separates the ones who talk from the ones who build. You don't need to feel ready. You just need to be committed. Because once you commit, the decision is already made. Discipline does the rest. No debates, no distractions, just forward. The key is to make discipline part of your identity, not just your strategy. Stop saying, I'm trying to be more disciplined. Start saying, this is who I am. Because your brain follows identity more than goals. When it becomes personal, it becomes powerful. You stop negotiating with your habits. You stop making it optional, and it becomes automatic. This is what strong people do. This is how they show up. Not because it's easy, but because they decided it's non-negotiable. That's not talent. That's not genetics. That's a mindset that was built one rep at a time. You don't need a full roadmap to start. You just need the next step and the discipline to take it. Stop waiting for clarity to act. Start acting to get clarity. Discipline builds momentum, and momentum creates breakthroughs, One small action compounds into something massive if you stay consistent. That's the secret most people ignore. They think success is about big leaps, but it's not. It's about the boring stuff. Done well. Done daily. That's how you win. Quietly, relentlessly, without skipping, without letting your excuses be louder than your commitment. So start where you are, use what you've got, do what you can, but do it every single day. Set the standard and then keep it, even when no one notices, even when it feels slow. That's how strong minds are built. Not by hype, but by discipline. You show up, you do the work, you repeat. Not because you feel like it, because that's what powerful people do. They don't chase comfort, they chase growth. And discipline, that's the engine that gets them there every single time.